Okay. Okay, we're back. Now my screen's better. Whatever reason, my screen goes, hey, Chezo, good to see you. My screen goes darker, so my face looks darker. Now I look normal again. So we'll try to bring guests up again. Hopefully now my screen will stay like it's supposed to be. Hey, Chezo, it's just Romeo. Thanks for joining Harmony. Sir Williams, Larry, 1947. Welcome back, everybody. Vincent, can I ask a few questions? Actually, absolutely, Vincent. Tippy Toes, good to see you. I just didn't like my screen. I was too faded out. I might have to use, there's a thing I can attach to my camera that will make everything brighter. I might have to use that, when I'm doing my lives here. And I have good lighting here, so I'm not sure what's going on. Let's see here. So my lighting right now is pretty good. But Goat, if you're there. I did get the gist of your story, but hopefully let's get everything tapping again. Now we have to get up to 7,000 likes pretty quick. I think we can do it. We're at 91 people. We'll get up to the 140, 50 range. Sasquatch, welcome back. I want to see if I can bring somebody on without my screen going darker. So let me see what happens here. Oh, you see, I'm going dark again. I don't know why my screen's going dark. All right, Goat, good to have you back. I'm just having a technical thing.
No, you're
I
good,
got
man. You're
special
good.
lighting that I need to use. I'm going to use this thing I have for the camera. I'll use it tomorrow night, I think.
Right. No, you're fine. You're fine. No, that was just part of my story that I just wanted to share. And I know a lot of people always gonna be, fascinated by the UFO,
Yeah.
UFO thing. For me, man, for you, what was your best ever experience of you encountering a UFO? Like
Oh
your
man, I've told this before. I've had since the 1960s the best spaceship sightings weren't even UFOs. I identified them as starships. I had a sighting of a ship that was 2 football fields in length, about 1,000 feet above a condo complex on a large hill next to across the street from a small shopping center with a market. And I was walking out of a club that does blues, and I was getting ready to set up a reggae dance party with roots music like Bob Marley and other roots artists that do reggae. And I heard a voice say, "Look up," and I went out there, and the thing was spinning slowly about 1,000 feet above the condo complex on this hill, and then out beyond that, it's all woods going towards the interstate. And I watched it for 35 minutes straight out.
Oh wow.
Yep.
And see, for you, man, what is your actual description of an extraterrestrial, like an alien? Like a lot of
Well, there aren't any aliens. That's a media thing. So I try to teach people is throw the word alien out the window whenever you hear it. There are star beings, star people. They come from other planets just like us. A lot of the stuff you see on TV is not true. The imaging, anyway, is not true. A lot of what you see on TikTok and Facebook and YouTube, people show these AI images of ugly looking people from space, and that's not the way it is out there. Now, not to say that there aren't any of that, but 95% of what's out there are star people that look just like us, have families just like us, are very advanced, spiritually advanced, and totally advanced in many other ways, and can travel in many different areas of the universe, like in a nanosecond. So I try to tell people it's hard for people to realize that aliens don't exist at all. It's just a name. It's just like calling a human an alien. Aliens don't exist, but there are non-terrestrial beings. You can say non-terrestrial beings or space beings or light beings or star beings, star people. That's more
right,
appropriate wording. And I do this just to help people. So every time I hear the word alien, it's not getting down on the word. It's just that
right,
that's not who they are. It's just like, if I came to the planet Earth and say, I wonder if there's any, a people over there in planet Z or something.
right,
They're all intelligent beings of different levels, and many of them happen to be humans. Some are starseed. They're absolutely correct. Call it coffee time. So it's going to be hard to get people to shift their consciousness on the wording, But I'm really about also making sure that we don't call star people aliens. They're not. They're intelligent beings of light from many different planetary systems.
I wonder where that alien term came from. Then that word, who brought it up or who made
It
that
was the
up?
media, Hollywood, the media. Look at all the documentaries on TV and on social media. People still have the problem. They use it on TikTok. I see people use that word all the time, and it's they don't know that that term is not really correct. And even on cable TV, on Discovery, and all these channels that have documentaries, they all use that terminology, and it's got to change because it's a disservice to educating the public about who the star people are, the space people are. They're not aliens. That doesn't even exist. It is a popular media word that's been used. It seems it's a popular word on Earth, but yeah, there aren't to not burst anybody's bubbles, but there are no such thing as aliens. They don't exist.
Wow. I never thought about it like that, man. Honestly, because that's all you really hear from the media is, oh, aliens in Miami, aliens caught on tape.
Yeah,
UFO caught on tape, and
that's
stuff like
exactly it. The media created the word. So
that.
it's a
Mm.
misuse of things, and so I'm here. I'm here to educate people in a loving way and bust the matrix. I was a contactee since I was a kid, and when I had my first contact with physical people, they were in light blue outfits or spacesuits on a spaceship in a cul-de-sac in Long Island, hovering above the court with a fog around the ship, and I saw men, women, and children look just like us, human as can be, very loving people, and that was my first encounter before I was a teenager, and I'll never forget it. And that's
Right.
why, because I know that they are people, that they are spiritual beings, they're people from another planet. I would never call them aliens because they're not.
So,
They're people.
so you could you say, in other words, like, could it be used as like propaganda? Maybe, like, I don't know.
Yeah, the word is it is propaganda. It's a propaganda to confuse people, to put fear in people. There's a lot of propaganda out there over all the decades. In the 1940s and 50s, a lot of the Hollywood movies about ETs were very negative. They make them look like monsters. They had this a movie about these Martians that were in a cave, and this one Martian's head was in a bowl in like a glass thing,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've
and
seen that. Yeah.
and then all these other Martians that were in the cave were fighting the people on Earth, or the military had to come in and they were trying to stop it, and so this whole connotation of these negative ETs, coming. That's one. War of the Worlds. You can look at that
Right,
one. You
right.
can look at Mars Attack, which is another movie that's based on fear and not true. I mean, all these fear-based Hollywood movies over the decades have been out there, like the movie Alien with Sigourney Weaver. Those movies, the same thing, negative connotation of they call everything an alien. They make these creative movies that are fear-based that have nothing to do with truth, and so I'm fighting back on that. That's part of what
Right.
I do on my show is I
Oh
want to
yeah, yeah.
educate people.
And
It's all good.
yeah, yeah. And let me ask you this question. I know I'm pretty sure the government man lies all the time, right? I mean, we can both agree on that,
Oh yeah,
But
kidding me? They're lying every day,
yeah,
every moment,
yeah.
every
But
time.
see,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
saw a documentary, man, or a video about it was called the Declassified Files Project Bluebeam, and it was talking about supposedly people undercover had undercover cameras, and they were talking to and then their turn, right, so-called alien. They were interviewing one, and they caught one on tape where they were doing autopsy to it. I guess all of that is just fake, right? Or it's
Yeah, a
just
lot of that is fear based. I tell people you got to weed out the fake things on social media, on Discovery, on History Channel. There's a lot of stuff out there. On the Gia network, there's things that are really enlightening and good on Gia. But in most of the stuff on the networks and Hollywood movies over the past decades, from 40s, 50s onward, many of those movies they're making in Hollywood have nothing to do with positive space people. It's all based on mostly fear and
not
what they've done
and
is
not
try.
just that, man. And then also it's just based. They're just getting money off of it.
Oh yeah,
Which so I
making
think
money
that
on
the
fear.
sad part is they
Yeah.
don't educate the people and they're not telling them the whole truth, like you're saying, and they're making money out of it. you know.
Yeah, they really are.
Wow.
And so yeah, I'm glad you came up here because I'm just really, I work with the Ashtar Command, which is the positive star people. I come from Mars originally. I'm here on mission Earth, a star seed, meaning that I have Earth-based parents. They're not here anymore. I was born on Earth, but I came here purposely to bust the matrix, to shake people up, and to shake belief systems up. I don't care if someone's a Catholic. I don't care if they're a Hindu. I don't care if they're a Muslim or whatever. I'm going to break them down too. And because I don't care, I don't care if someone thinks that some politician is God. I'm going to break them down too. I don't care if somebody, whatever. I'm here to show people on the show not only about hear about their disclosure about UFO sightings and their encounters with space people, but I'm here also to shake people up because I don't come from here. When Mars, there's no shopping malls, they don't have cars running around. They don't have pollution. And Mars, there's 10 to 15 million people living on Mars right now. And Mars has some portion of the planet now. There are above ground living habitat areas. Most of the Martian population lives within Mars. The waterways, the seas, the oceans are within Mars. I know about my planet because that's where I come from. So I have a multiple consciousness, meaning I work with my Martian consciousness. I am working in my star-based consciousness with the Ashtar Galactic Command, which is the forces of good, in the cosmic crisis consciousness. So I work in all those levels. I don't seek out information from websites for the most part. I don't need to. Everything I get is direct. I'm telepathic communicator off planet. I don't channel anything. You won't see me use pendulums or cards or crystal balls. All that stuff is sideshow stuff to me. I just don't. I give people the information direct here, and
Right,
I'm
right.
glad so I'm glad you're here because
No, no, no.
you're,
Yeah, it's always good to get information and
yeah,
like I said, it's always good to listen and learn, man. It's always good to listen and learn. But
yeah. See,
I gave you a follow host, and you keep doing what you're doing, man. And hopefully, more you come, get to more people and
yeah.
hopefully to see the truth.
Yeah, Goto, well, I'm glad you're here, and you're now a friend of the show, and you're going to meet a lot of good people here. It's a
Yes,
good addiction to be on here.
yes,
And I'm going to bring
yes.
my friend Riley up because he hasn't been on for a while. Hey,
Yeah, no
Goto,
problem,
thanks for
no
being here.
problem.
I appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Yes.
Everyone, say hello to Goto, and we're going to bring Riley up here. Riley, I think he's been off planet for a couple of months, so let's bring Riley up here. I'm going to have to bring him back up because now my TikTok thing is acting weird. Hold on a minute. Riley, we're going to get you back up here, man. Let's see. I got to. I'm going to bring you back up. Hold on a minute. I'm going to do this again. All right. Where is he? Where is Riley? Oh, here he is. All right. Now you're working. This TikTok thing app is kind of weird sometimes. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Yeah, TikTok can be kind of sketchy at times and
It's being
buggy.
sketchy a lot lately, but
Yeah.
as long as I can, how's everything going?
It's been going great, really. I just took a I call it kind of like the family hiatus. Just try to focus
Okay.
on the three kiddos and put action into everything I learned from you guys in your room and like all the stuff we talked about ahead of time in a way.
Yeah,
And
yeah, absolutely.
it was kind of like time for me just to focus and put the, as they say, put the boots to the ground, so to speak.
Yeah. Do you want
If
to
I'm
come
gonna
on
grow a
camera or you?
garden, I
Yeah.
better start now.
Do you want to do camera or do you want to stay that way? What's up
um
to you, man?
I'm okay either way. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
actually go into
Let,
to
let us let our audience see your beautiful face.
oh, well, I appreciate it, but yeah. It's been a minute. I got to
Riley,
remember all these commands.
yeah, Riley's been a guest on the show many times before last year. He's a good person. There he is. I call him the guitar man.
Hello.
Hey, Riley.
How's it going?
Good,
Um
good to see you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I missed you guys quite a bit. Uh, and I've got a lot to share, and I'm kind of like just regathering what you guys have been doing. Like I've been hearing about you, like going on your own trip and having future contact, and the four of you going on your ship, like what you've been talking about. And kind of to tie into what Goat had said, is you know me, I try to look for ways to discredit some of the videos that we do see out there. And
Right.
like what he mentioned is there's two, actually three videos of this one interview with a space, what do we call them, spacemen, space being?
Star people or space people or
Yeah.
non-terrestrials, depending on what they look like, who they
So
are.
we'll say space people. And the story goes, just to sum it up, is that this was a crash, retrieval. The being was sick and they were interrogating and he was going in and out of consciousness. And
Hmm.
the video, and where I find it somewhat pretty credible, is that they would have had to go into a lot of like maybe CG and like puppeteering, because the teeth, a
Yeah.
human's teeth is a human's teeth. These weren't
Right.
human
That's right.
teeth. So those
Yeah.
are hard
Yeah.
to fake. Eyes are hard
Yeah.
to fake. Like
Right.
to a certain degree. You got to look, like if you're wearing a mask, you kind of like always see the human eye, and then you have the
Yeah.
makeup around it.
That's right.
So, but anyways, to go on what he said is that this space being
Space
was,
being.
yeah, discussing about artificial intelligence and trying to
Hmm.
warn, like we've had to deal with this off planet before,
Hmm.
and this is a threat to you, and we're monitoring it, so to speak. And I was having that kind of play through my head while I was in the chat, the text,
Right.
and it asked, have you heard of anything from AI in your experience and what you've encountered from
Oh, me?
Mars or any of that?
I know that. I mean, obviously, the Alexa app is AI and that kind of stuff. I mean, there is AI in our lives. The kind of AI that I want people to be careful of is now the AI where you can create video and imaging on AI, which could be totally looking real and it's not. And that's the thing, people, at least in our community, the people of who are involved in the truth about planetary systems and life elsewhere. We really do need to stop it. Coffee's time is right. The AI, with the visual parts of AI, it's not good because anybody can be, if they're smart and really a genius, they can create a fake scenario of something that's not real. And
Yeah,
there are people already doing it. I saw AI of four flying saucers. It looked like a real sunset, and there were fighter jets ahead of it. I remember this a few months ago. I actually caught the creator, and he was honest. He said, "Oh, I created that." And I said,
yeah,
"Oh," I said, he said, "Yeah, but people think it's real." But it's
yeah,
not. He says, I created it. So he was an honest creator, and people do that. I don't know why they're doing it, but let's see. This person says, Commander, why do so many people, many movies intentionally show fear? Because they don't. The reason why there's so much fear about ETs, because the movie industry and a lot of these documentaries are guilty of using the word alien and showing these ugly faces. If you go on TikTok and you look at some of the things that people record about ETs, they always show negative looking faces. People that are interested in the subject. And I say to myself, why do people do that? Why do people show, what's the purpose of that? And how are you helping educate people doing that? Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Why do people do that? The thing is this is the thing people want to. This is what I want to show you. This is what I'm going to show a picture of, just for the sake of knowledge. This is what actually a good a picture of space people look like from other planets. I'm going to show you one here. I'm doing this on purpose. Now, this is what a person from another planet looks like, just like us. The images you see on YouTube, on cable TV, on documentaries, and even on TikTok, it's guilty of this. Some of the creators are. They show pictures of ugly-looking beings. No, many of the people from other planets look like this. They just look like this. I'm going to show you another picture, just to educate people here. Let me just do this here. Wait a minute. I got more pictures, believe me. Here's a picture of Ashtar. This is written by a woman named Tuala. She wrote books. She communicated with a space being called Ashtar, a star being of the Ashtar Galactic Command. This is Ashtar, a tribute. I have the copy of the original book. This is what the artist's rendition of what he looked like in her imaging of him. Very much beautiful, very human. But they don't look like anything like that. That's what they don't look like. That's the thing you have to say. They don't look like that. But so this is the educational thing here. Here's another one. This is another star being, extraterrestrial star person. People have been given misinformation, and our minds are perpetuated all the time on media, on social media, with negative looking ETs. I'm here to bust the matrix on that, on
Well,
these
could
photos
you
that
also
people are getting.
add, and would you agree with this statement, is that there's more than one race of them? So, yes, this is true, but then there's also some that look like this, and some that look like this, and some that are shorter, and some that fly, and some that are spiritual, some that are angelic.
Well,
I mean,
they're
there's lots of
the ones that they're angelic beings, but the ones that look like the ones that I'm talking about, and the ones that look like nasty and so forth, they're not spirit. Those are not spiritual. They're very low vibrational. They're advanced to the point where they can travel within our universe, but they can't go beyond it. So here's another one right here. Here's
and
another group. These are all space people in a circle on a ship, and they're around this connection. Look how beautiful that is, compared to the garbage that's on social media of ETs looking like they're
can I
gonna kill you.
add notation to your picture there that before you remove it? I lost my wife like 3 years ago, and I have studied a lot of near death experience videos. It's kind of like a rabbit hole I went around. And that is a very accurate description of what someone has passed away, had like a life review and seen the future in that globe. And I'm just I
Right?
kind of like I'm medium, not a medium, but I'm like a sponge. I absorb all these things and things
Yeah, yeah,
synchronously come at me, and I'm able to like see puzzle pieces all come into one to kind of like correlate a story.
yeah.
So that's what he's saying is actually very accurate, and it's
And here's
that's kind of how we see like an aura of light as a
yeah,
reflection, and it's almost like telepathically in your mind.
here's another picture. Here's oh, no, I already showed you that one, I think, didn't I? Okay, let me go past that one. Do I have another one? I don't have another one here right now, but I'll add more pictures because people need to know the truth that the space people the space people are not aliens. There's no aliens. I know it's going to hurt some people's, belief system, but I don't care. You see, if I cared how I hurt people's belief system based on media, see, that stuff is not real. That's the thing.
I think there's some truth to this one, but I
It
won't
might
go
be,
into it
but
right now.
in essence, they're really not real. Well, however that was carved in there might be a person's perception of what they were seeing. But understand, in truth, most of the space people, 95% of them, look like human. They look just like us. As a matter of fact, the Valiant Thor, if I have a picture, I don't think I have a picture of Valiant Thor. I'll have to show you a picture of him. Valiant Thor was human. He came to Earth on a spaceship outside of Alexandria, Virginia, landed a ship in the 1960s, and actually hypnotized the police. They tried to blockade him. He went to the White House. This is a true story. He met with the president at the time of the United States, and he was able to get through security because he came from another world. He was able to hypnotize them. They let him go right through. All they were interested in when he met with the high officials in the government were his spacesuit. They only cared about his spacesuit. They didn't care about his message of spiritual enlightenment, his message of love, his message of peace and understanding. And so then he had stayed on Earth for a while. He had met with people in a place in New Jersey back in the '60s. There was a gathering. It was Valiant Thor, his brother, and his sister. They all came from the ship, the Victor One. The Victor One is a ship that was in Lake Mead in Nevada. There's a whole book about it called "Stranger at the Pentagon," and this is a true story. My friend Dr. Stranges, who's no longer alive, I interviewed him over about 17 years ago before he died. He wrote this book, Stranger at the Pentagon. People should go online, try to find a copy of it, and maybe a PDF file of the book or whatever. You need to get this book. It's a true story about Valiant Thor. This positive space people have come to Earth before, but the people in our governments rejected their offer to help our planet numerous times. So we've had cover up on this planet for, I know a lot of things. We've had cover up on Earth for over 70 years. 70 years. Now, you heard, like you were saying before, about contact. There's four of us that have been selected by the Ashtar Command. We didn't select ourselves. We're just regular people. I do customer service work during the day. We all have jobs. We all do like anything else. We're just normal human beings in many ways, right? We were selected by the command. They had found us. We have there's a big story behind this, but to keep it a little bit simple, they have wanted us to be four of us that didn't even know each other are going to be ambassadors, humbly taken on board a spaceship of the Ashtar Command. And I work with the Ashtar Command. I worked the Ashtar Command before there's any internet. I've been with the Ashtar Command even before it came to Earth. So even
Yeah.
before, when I was a kid, I didn't know what the word Ashtar was because I was a kid on Earth. I forgot where I came from. But as I got older, I became awake. And so I'm very tuned into things. And we're going to
Yeah,
come
that's why I'm
back.
asking you directly.
Yeah, directly. So what I'm telling you is that we're going to come back and bring information back to the planet that's going to help people. I have a
Eh,
feeling we're going to be elevated, and I think they're going to be working on us in a beautiful way with activating our conscious levels to a much higher state of consciousness. And I think when we come back, we're going to be able to share that. And that's the thing. Whatever we get to know, we're going to share with everybody because it's not for us, it's for everybody. Whatever we get to know is for everyone on here and everyone who's on the planet. That's what it's for. It's for the whole world. We're not here to have a little, private club and say, "Oh wow, we're the best." That's not what it's about. We're all
Grab it.
regular people. We're all regular folks, and we're all awake. We all know we're not just regular human beings. Nobody here is a regular being. Nobody watching this. I know a lot of the people here. Nobody's a regular person here. I mean, we're all from somewhere, and our goal is to share the information. And I've gotten so strong in my conviction because of my coming to Earth that I know this is all good. I know what I'm doing. I've been through the ranks before. I know what it was recently when we had some bad stuff happening, which I'm not getting into, but I also know that that'll never happen again. You know, it'll never happen again. So our purpose is now. We don't know the time or day of it, but I know that on the 13th of April, we're going to be in an apple orchard field, and we'll be live on TikTok, and we're going to be whatever we're supposed to see, we're going to see. We're going to have something happen. I have no idea what it is. I don't like to project things ahead of time, so I'm just going to go with the spontaneous flow of whatever it is. We're going to have a beautiful experience. We're going to have our Ashtar Command C5 group together. Some of them don't have TikTok or whatever, or Facebook, but I have a whole list of people on our Ashtar list that are going to be here locally in the region, and we're going to come together, and we come together in unity and love and light, and we're just have a beautiful experience. And that's my whole thing is to people have to stand in that beauty of light. If they don't, and they let their mind get to them, the mind can mess people up pretty good. The human mind has a good way of messing people up, and it's I'm going to be in my commandership now. I'm always in my commandership, but I'm really firm about who I am and what I'm doing. I'm very absolute about what I'm doing, and it's like when I climb the mountain. If someone tries to pull the rope, it's not going to work. I'm going to still climb that mountain. You can pull the rope all you want. The commander's going up, 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 up. And that's what we all have to do. We have to keep climbing, climbing, climbing. And whenever you have a diversion, you have to look it in the face and say, nope, not happening. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, everything you say resonates with me because as you talk about certain things, it triggers what I've seen out there and kind of like the truth in it, and like you say, the government has retrieved stuff and met
Yeah.
people and this and that. And that's what makes that interview so intriguing because, they were under scrutiny and asked questions. I mean, that's just
Oh,
governmental
yeah.
knowledge that they want to obtain. And and like with AI, and I think it just don't even go with AI. Look at what we do with our phones and how much of our life is dependent on
Yeah.
things,
It is. But,
and
in this
that is
particular,
AI type
and
of.
this is kind of AI too, in a way, but in a
Yeah,
sense with this, even though this is kind of AI, we're still in control of it and we still have the power. Speaking of
yeah,
power, everybody needs to contact their representatives in Washington tomorrow before Thursday. Senators and congressmen, you need to tell them that they need to get their hands off of TikTok. because what they want to do is they want to ban TikTok in the United States of America. And I'm not political here, but I'm just saying in this particular case, every single person that I love out here, you need to let them know that you don't agree with them doing this, and that we must make sure that they don't ban TikTok. It's just not right.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
it's a huge form of communication directly. I mean, you can't do this on Facebook and in chat rooms and you
can't.
know, can't do it on Instagram. You can't do it anywhere else. That's where like the fact that I blatantly stumbled upon TikTok at the time in my life when I did, and then I met you. I mean, your synchronicity to me, man. I like you were like the golden key to take all the puzzles of the pieces together and actually like let them interlock. Like
Oh, thank
you were
you.
the
Well, you
map,
too.
roadmap
We
to
all
me.
we all kind of yin and yang together. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So we
Well,
all
I
learn
mean,
from each other.
like you say, TikTok's super important because we all have questions and we don't know where to. Who do you ask? You can't go to your preacher or pastor and say, "Hey, I had this,
Well, I'm going to
vision
answer. I'm
encounter."
gonna I'm gonna answer Ava's question very clearly, very strongly. If you're it's not astral. I'm not an astral commander. I'm an Ashtar commander. Okay. How come asking for money? Because we live on a planet where there is money, and I have no problem with it when it's used for the right purpose. And also because you're on TikTok, they encourage you in what you're doing in creative content where you can ask people to support what you're doing. And I'm going to continue doing it. I have no problem doing it. Now, I know that's an honest question, Ava. So if you go on any of the TikToks that are doing stuff, they all are doing some content where they're being creative and ask for support. In this thing, I'm doing an actual show here. I don't walk around in a clown costume or have a big fat cow outfit with disco balls asking for money. I'm doing something that takes a lot of work, and there's a lot of aspects to what I do. And if people support me with TikTok coins, I say absolutely, I'm going to ask for it. I don't think there's any contradiction. I live on the planet Earth. I'm not living on Mars. There's a big difference. So I go with the flow of the planet I live on, and I think I will always ask people to support me. I have the baseball caps. I have 8 of those available. I have 7 available. I say, yeah, give me some support. Subscribe to my TikTok. Once you get used to TikTok and you know how it operates, they encourage that, and I'm all for that. That's a very beautiful thing.
Can
You
I
know.
can I toot your horn for a minute, Commander? Will you
Yeah,
give me
go
the
ahead.
mic to toot your horn and kind of touch on
Go
that
ahead.
subject?
Yes.
Because I think when it comes from someone that's outsider, I don't make money off of TikTok. I'm just here, gaining friendship in a
Right.
lonely time in my world, but at the right time. And you think about all the people in these comments here that I've just read just in the last five
Right.
minutes. There's gonna be people that are gonna have questions and go, "Who do we trust? What do we do?" and don't know where to go, and
Right.
that's where you come in. You're like the Dr. Phil, the Oprah, the radio DJ, the starseed, the shepherd, the bishop, the
Right.
person that could guide us and lead us in the right way, because we're going to have questions. I mean, you're the one that
Right.
kind of
That's right.
sparked me to go, "Hey, look, I'm getting distracted. You've got enough information to go on now. Put it to use. If you're going to
Yeah.
try to do things for your family, you need to focus on that and take the knowledge." I mean, how hard how hard it is to explain to kids that I saw UFOs and I filmed it, and I'm still trying to discredit that night. And it was like,
Yeah.
no, that I haven't seen anything in the sky in the last 8 months that
Yeah.
looked as bright as that was a moving ship, not a star,
Right.
and then blinked away. And it was
And
bright enough
also,
that I knew it wasn't a
and
military. And I've got military. I live by the
yeah.
the, the base over here.
And also,
But
just to let Ava know, my videos that are on my main page are free. I don't sell any UFO videos. I don't sell anything.
yeah, but
My
also the thing
videos,
is, you buy equipment, you buy night vision. You think about it this way: if we were in a different time of the world, we would trade knowledge for items. Like I might give you spices, and you might give me furs, and we're spending time that that's what hunting and gathering is, and that's why money became a thing because it was a way to say instead of, "Hey, you don't like the fur, you can just get
right,
whatever you want." So monetary
right,
money is what we have as a trade
right.
system.
And
Commander
this is
sacrifices
you
his
know,
time and
yeah, I
knowledge
do.
and he's got to get his bills paid. Unfortunately, the government has not told me in a letter, and if they did, please let me know, that we don't have to pay our mortgages anymore and pay our utilities and pay for our internet.
That's right.
Because, boy, I would love that if it was free.
And let me introduce somebody coming out of the rabbit hole, a person that I know, a famous person in Hollywood. He just came back from the Oscars, and here he is, James.
Oh, let me tell you what. When I was at the Oscars tonight,
Yes.
I was interviewing all of the stars, and I interviewed a man who said, "Hey, I was watching the Commanders show the other day, and don't forget to tell him to come pick me up in his spaceship."
There you go. That's my man, the man down in Florida, down the rabbit hole, a person that has seen Bigfoots down in Florida.
Yes.
And, yes, indeed. And Ava says she has a UFO video that's legit. Well, Ava, we'd love to see that. You need to send me a copy of the video. Hey, Ava, you got, I like your name, Lightstar. Ava, send me your video. I'm going to send you my email, and I'd like to see your footage. This is my email address, Ava. I appreciate you being here. Let's see. So I've got my email. If you want to send me a copy of the video, I'll take a look at it. And if it's good, we'll post it on, I'll show it when I'm ready. Okay. Hey, that's cool. When you feel ready and confident, you can show it, and we'll be happy. But you got my email if you decide to want to send it to us. I'm a contactee. I've had contact with space people. I've seen so many spaceships over the years. I'll show it in my own content. That's cool. That's cool. If you want to show in your own content, do it. Go for it.
Yeah, well, I'll follow you. That's the thing, is this is a space for people that don't want to believe things but are still curious and want to investigate on their own. That's what this is. This is a safe space,
Yeah, we'll bring, someone's saying bring Mel B on. Mel B will definitely bring Mel B on. But let me see, where's Mel B? We'll bring him on. We're one of these nights where Mel B wants to come on, and we'll bring Mel B on. We got my friend James. We got Mel B coming in on Encounters. Just let people know how our show works. This is a spiritual UFO talk show. I just want to give the perimeters of the show. No profanity, no drugs, drinking, vaping, or smoking on the show. Nobody under 18. No paranormal stuff, and no bullying on the show of any guest anywhere in the world who comes on here. So that's my rules. And I'm producer and host of the show, so I want to keep it that way. You know what I mean? Hey, Mel B, welcome to the show.
Hi. How's everybody?
Good to have you with us.
Good to have you. I was on a live earlier, and they said, you gotta see the Commander. I said, all right, I've been on a show once. I'll go. And I found you first thing. Bam, there you were. I just filmed a video an hour ago. I've just posted it. It's now, it does not look like a drone, but it was zipping around the sky. It did things that no but human could do. And then when I got my phone, I ran back out and I was filming it, trying to get in the dark so I could film it because there's lights all around me. It stopped. And it started turning different green, blue, and turquoise. Never seen one like this. I've seen probably 150 ships in my life. Being from Roswell, anything in New Mexico flies. Everything's in the sky. All you got to do is look.
Everything does, right? That's right.
Something's happening every night.
Now, do you live? She's in New Mexico, so you have a lot of sightings there. I mean, ever since Roswell, there's always been sightings in New Mexico.
Absolutely. Our ranch was one of the ranches that was involved in the alleged crash in 47. Huh?
Really?
And
is your family connected to?
Yes.
Not publicly. About that.
Not publicly, but yeah, our you can look up our family name. I'll DM whoever wants proof that that was our. In fact, we still own the mineral rights of the ranch. It's 70 sections. Yes.
That was Roswell's ranch where he had the cows and everything.
It's about 70 miles out of town, but yes, it's by Corona, New Mexico. It's out in the middle of nowhere.
Really?
It takes 30 minutes on the road. On the paved road, you go 30 minutes out north, and then you have to turn left, and you go out 40 minutes on a dirt road.
Really?
Yes.
Have you ever had anybody out there to test the land, like to see
There
didn't get any
are
readings?
there have been thousands of people who have wanted to come out. There have been thousands of people who've been able to come out. The people that own the land now are the Corns. They stopped letting people in because people are disgusting and they're trashy and they don't
Yeah.
clean up after
Yeah.
themselves. So
Yep.
they stopped all that. But let me tell you some facts you guys may or may not know about that night.
Okay.
My uncle was a brigadier general in the Air Force Reserves. He just died. We buried him in last February. And I asked him, I only got 3 conversations with him because my aunt and my mother would not let me speak to him about anything. My mother's very religious. I'm a recovering Southern Baptist, and I try to just tell the truth. I know what I know. I know what I saw. I know what's happening now, and I am trying to make sure people don't walk into a place where they're going to get shot because I already know what's in there. And trust me, but people just don't, this dissidence that's happening, they don't want to believe that they've been lied to their entire life by everyone they've ever trusted. We already have trust issues as earthlings, as humans. But let me tell you some things that just make me go alleged crash. 2 days after the crash, they had another fake site set up. Now, let me tell you, it's out in the middle of freaking nowhere, you guys. It's not like they were looky-loos. You got to go. You got to know where you're going. Why would they have a second site set up 2 days after this? It was out in the middle of nowhere, but not near that.
2 days after the Roswell crash, where the newspaper reported that they had found a crash flying saucer. 24 hours later, I know this to be true.
24 hours later,
they changed it to a weather balloon.
Yes, sir. They did. Now, two of the weird things is that our family had a piece of it. You could not, it was like a really thin piece of foil. You could not do anything to it. It would go back to the way it was no matter what you did. You couldn't cut it. You couldn't tear it. They tried to put it on fire. Everything they did to it, it just kind of remember, and that's what they said. They didn't go, it didn't ruin it, it was like brand new. The people that saw it said these words, it remembered how it was. Now, if that was true, how did it end up in 5,000 pieces strewn across the desert?
Right.
Because the technology is only in that space. You'd have to have another piece for those two to repair themselves. So if it's scattered, that would explain it.
They had 300 men shoulder to shoulder combing the desert for 3 days straight.
Wow.
Then a man named Robert in 2008 finds a rock. The crop circle that matched that rock was about 8 years apart.
Can you tell us what crop circle? This is CmdrAleon, the host.
Near Sheffield, I believe, in Great Britain. And in England, it was, I'm going to say, now the rock was found in, I believe, 2008. And then, or 2014, or vice versa. But the crop circles was one of those. If you look up Roswell Rock, okay, Roswell Rock, and then you can put after that whatever it is you want to see about. Robert's his name. He's from Roswell. He had the rock tested. Like, there's a lot of things you can know about it. But they'll also probably, I hope, will show you the crop circle that matched it exactly.
Interesting. We'll have to take a look at that.
7 or 8 years apart, guys.
It's got 2 magnetic.
Yes, it has got 2 things in it that they said we don't know what would happen if we could destroy this universe. It could be like that.
Just for a moment.
But I don't believe them. I don't look. I don't trust them. All this disclosure, I believe everyone like Greer and even my favorite Tsoukalos, I believe they have sold out. I believe the government paid them. I believe they have said, you got to stop. You can't be showing everybody the truth. No one will convince me I'm not right about that.
Yes,
but it's just some questions I
don't watch much of the Ancient Alien things.
Right.
I'm intrigued by some of their shows, but I really have no view on that too much because I'm so focused on what I do here. I keep pretty much centered on this versus that.
Sure.
Yeah,
well,
I'm just trying to summarize it really quick for people, just so that they can go search it on their own time.
Oh, absolutely.
In a 5-minute sentence, what she's talking about is a gentleman was just out walking. He stumbles upon a rock that is
not like anything there yet.
Everything else was like white, and this rock was a black.
Red and black, yeah.
But they found that they tried to cut it. They did everything, but it had a laser etching, similar to that little amulet I was
Mhm.
showing. But
Well, he didn't want to get it tested for the longest time, but he finally relinquished it and said, "Don't ruin it." Chukulos was like, "I won't. I
Yeah.
promise. We'll take good care of it."
that was part of that crash that
Right,
flew out of
right,
the ship.
right,
That's
Oh,
right.
interesting.
And they
Very
had men
interesting.
for 3 days with shoulder to shoulder combing the desert. Did they miss that? The guy said you would see it from space. That's how different the rock was from any other rock that was down there. How did they miss it?
It looks like a river stone.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Beautiful
You
river.
know,
Beautiful.
very
But
interesting. So,
okay, so
the
there's
land.
that.
Go
There's
ahead.
that question. Here's my other question. Why would they have so much information only hours after this happened?
Because they
They
had
seemed
reports
to know what they were
of
doing, like it
something.
had happened to
You mean
Red,
you mean
or
you
they were
mean
setting
no?
up
But
for the narrative they have
you
today.
well, when that craft crashed, they retrieved bodies out of it. One of them, according to the initial information, it was alive. The other ones, they died. And then they tried to go in there and inside the craft. What I do understand is they tried to figure out the controls of the craft, how to turn it on and operate it, but they didn't know what to do. And that was one of those things where I'm sure they took it secretly to either Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, where they have multi-level facilities, and they were trying to figure out the technology. Well, years later, we know
It was
since
through 5,000
1947.
pieces.
It
How were
was
they
Yeah,
going to figure out the technology for that?
Area
they
51. That base
right.
became the spot where they took the pieces that they did retrieve and took it to that base. That's why
Now,
it got so famous. Area
this
51.
is not Area 51, guys. Roswell, New Mexico. They went from
No,
here to Wright-Patterson Air Force
right,
Base. From
Wright-Patterson.
there,
That's
it
right.
went to Area 51.
Yeah.
That's
Right,
in
that's right.
Nevada.
Right, but
Okay.
also understand that we're not just talking about the Roswell crash.
Right,
Since
right.
then, there were other crashes at that same year, 1947, north of Roswell, that were written about by people that had seen other flying sources crash. We were using scalar technology, which we were using. The
Yeah.
scalar technology is an energy that makes the energy field of the spaceship not operate properly and forces it to crash. That's basically what they were using.
Yeah, yeah,
And then from what I've gathered in my resources is that the government started using that kind of weapon against
yeah.
counters like that. They
Right,
were starting to weaponize that,
right.
and that's why the spacemen were not happy because they're
Well, let me tell you, my
roughly.
uncle, that brigadier general, was out there that night. He was 14 years old. My mother was out there. They said it was one of the worst lightning storms. They thought the world was ending. They thought it was gone. We were done. We had come through something in our galaxy that was just about to destroy everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to him, did they bring the storm or did the storm bring them? And he looked up at the sky and he said, that's the question, isn't it? And I said, what was it? Thunder, lightning? He said, no, only lightning. No clouds, just lightning coming across the sky sideways. It almost looked like notes, like a symphony. He said it just kept coming and coming and louder. And it was like thunder. And then all of a sudden, nothing. It was silent.
Nothing, yeah.
Maybe that was the crash.
It could have been. It could have been. From where the ranch sat and where the wreck was compared to where the house that was out there that they, lived in and occupied and we
What do
grew
you
up in,
think?
was
Why
like
do you
12
think?
miles.
Why do you think? And this is Encounters, the late night UFO show. James is doing some exercising, but why do you think that the question I have is, why do you think? And I can't believe I'm blanking out on it's such an important question, but
Can I
there
ask
comes.
or
Go ahead.
elaborate?
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
so what they mention is the craft skipped quite a bit on the crash. And from videos and kind of like maybe this is my own take is that I think some of our space friends power their ships or intervene with weather circumstances as a powering recharge system.
Well, they
And
use the earth, the ley lines, not only the ley
they use
lines, but
volcanic
they use the free energy that's in the air and the free energy from the ground.
our electric clouds, and they can maybe interfere with the ship, or if it didn't, something
Well, a lot
happened.
of it would be scalar technology. Now I remember my question. Why did the Broswell family, why did Broswell What happened? How did that scenario happen when it
We begged
crashed?
him not to do it. We begged him not. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. My family members said, "What are you doing? Don't do that. They're gonna. Not only are you gonna lose what you have, but you were gonna. It's gonna ruin your. Remember Darwin? Remember Darwin? And that's. He wouldn't
Well,
listen. He said, no, no, no. The government won't do that. They don't lie. It's good.
Roswell chose to do what he did. He chose to go to the authorities, which probably was the big mistake in the first place.
Yeah.
Unless he actually went to them.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he was ever even sorry. I know that Marcel his life was ruined, and he was so mad all the time because he had to lie, and he kept his mouth shut. And on his deathbed, he was like, "Damn, I'm telling," and he told. And now it's coming out of the astronauts. Yeah, of course we haven't been to the moon. What are you kidding me? We can't get there. Can't go past. All of these lies that we know now. We've been pressuring them. Conspiracy and truth. What's the difference? About 6 months, and who backs you? That's the difference. We're conspirators because we have questions. I have big questions.
There have been people over the decades that have been having encounters. Project Blue Book, when I was a kid growing up in the 60s, J. Allen Hynek was in charge of that. And then they said when they shut down Project Blue Book,
down, sure. Yeah.
Well, let me explain. Well, let me explain it. So the way it happened is they didn't really shut anything down. They went underground. They went underground quiet, with it, and they went quiet. So, 5 years ago, the Pentagon, for 2 years, Congressman Schiff, I mean, he was the congressman, he was from Nevada, Arizona, he died.
Yeah.
He came public. He said, the Pentagon's been studying UFOs for 2 years. Now, that's a lie, too, because what happened is the government's been involved with the subject ever since the last 70 years. So they play games with the public. 2 years.
Yes. Oh well, this is okay. Again, I asked my uncle, like, why can some people see them and some people can't? He said most of them you can't perceive. No human can. They're too fast. I said, well, then what are you seeing? My whole life for 50 years, I've seen lights in the sky. I've seen things. Right. Holograms. We've had holograms down since 1923. I said, what?
Right. Yeah. But you understand something, that now many people, including myself, I've seen spaceships very up close. Like I said, my sighting in the 1980s in the Elk River Valley in Connecticut here in New England, I spent 35 minutes watching a spaceship rotating over a hill, over a condo complex, and to the west-northwest, it's all woods. And the thing was sitting there straight out. This is before there was any TikTok or anything. I called a local ABC News affiliate. They told me it was a bunch of pilots in formation. I said, tear up your paper. You're in a studio in New Haven, downtown, and I'm here in a parking lot, sparsely lit, with a market on one side and a couple of storefronts along here. And I'm coming out of a blues club, setting up for a reggae night to play some albums for people with roots music. And I go out and I hear a voice in my head saying, look up in plain English. And right there is a spaceship that's over 2 football fields in length, blinking like crazy, with 2 lights that come out of it. And I've always remembered it. I can document everything I'm talking about. And, so I've actually had up close encounters with a spaceship. I didn't look at a little tiny light going zipping in the sky.
Yeah. And so that's another question. Why can we perceive some of them? Why are we seeing some? Why are we not? Why is it such a horrible secret that they're having to use energy weapons on us and beta waves and microwaves and all of these different frequencies to mess us up? Why?
Right. But also, the positive thing is you can go into the negative scenarios of that, which does exist, but you can also go in the positive scenarios where when I get into the star beings, the Ashtar Command, which I work with and I've worked with before I came here. Now, on the other end of it, there's a lot of good things now happening. Now we're in 2024 versus 1947, and we are going to see a very big shift in the way things happen around the universe, on our planet.
Oh, absolutely.
We are going to see, hey, Jersey for Life, we're going to see a lot of the fleets of light starting to come here soon. Yes. And between now and 2027, I've been telling people
Yeah.
Get out of your head and get centered and meditate and focus on the light frequencies in your consciousness, and make sure your brain is operating in light frequency, not in human consciousness. Because if your brain is operating in human consciousness, it's going to confuse you. If your brain is operating in cosmic light consciousness, you're going to be able to perceive things in a much wider understanding than you are now. That's just what's going to happen.
And get your butt up and get in shape.
Yeah.
I want to simplify that in another terms is
right.
When we, are in a place of humble and thankful and happy what we have in our lives, and if you do it through prayer, or if you, like you're talking about, are kind to a stranger, that is a part of that. Living in that frequency of good, when you could easily get mad that the guy cut you off, but instead you know what? I'll back off the gas. I was kind of speeding, and this guy needed to get over. I was being, take responsibility of your own actions.
Absolutely.
Don't have as much road rage. Don't harass someone that upset you. Control your emotions.
There are two secrets of life everyone's been searching for millions of years. You know what they are? It's so simple. Unconditional love and complete forgiveness. That's it.
Yeah, because if you go out, and understand you have a task to go to the grocery store and come back. You don't need to run amok. You don't need to steal. You don't need to do the things. You got to just stay in the course. And, if you see something that's out of place and that you have a chance to, whether it be serve God or chime in and help someone.
Sure.
Quit filming it and jump in and help.
Yeah.
That's like kind
of,
you're living in, you talk about Christ consciousness. It's like it's almost like you're an antenna, like those old rabbit antennas, pun intended, with aluminum foil on it. What you're talking about and what Mel is the government knows that ADHD people and people that do certain types of mushrooms or whatever, we can get into a meditative state. And that's why I'm trying to give you a different analogy of what Commander is saying in a different wordage.
Perspective. Sure.
Yeah. Is that that's what happened to me before I ever met Commander. And I was not spiritually like that, but I felt like touched in that way. It
resonates. Sure.
It became church for me, in my own household.
Yep.
And that's right with Riley, that's the case.
That is kind of like why Commander doesn't understand how valuable he is, because he is in line of a church in a way, because he tries to share love and read your light and give you a place to talk, and, so it's a great thing. So, Mel wonderful coming in, it was like, wow, that's mind blowing.
I hope I don't sound angry. I know my picture looks angry, but I'm not. I am tired of the lies. I want people to get rid of their own ego and get out of the cognitive dissonance. Don't let it bother you. It's happened to all of us. Now let's get past it, because there's some things that are going to be happening that you're not going to understand. Time has sped up. There are other things that are going on that this is not our imagination, you folks. There are things that are happening. And yes, to answer Alicia real quick, the Palladians are in touch with me at my work at night when I sleep. I have a very important job, and I do things in different planes, in different dimensions, and different realities I go to, and I help beings all over the place. So my Lyran lineage is Liz. My mother is Ashtar's actually cousin, so he's related.
All right. Well, I would say thanks, Mel, for coming on.
Thank you, guys.
And keep on doing your work.
Maybe next time I can show you the MIB stories that I have that no one knows about either.
All right. Whoa, we'll definitely the Men in Black stories. Yeah, we'll hear it. We'll hear that for sure.
All right. All right, guys. Hey, namaste to everyone. Blessings. Love you all, and be nice to each other.
Yes, always. Hey, thanks for coming on, for sure.
See you later.
All right, that was Mel. You see, this is how spontaneous our show is. You never know what's going to happen on the Commander's show. That actually
I think that's so cool how her family is, involved with the original Roswell crash.
See, I didn't even know that. That's, this. Where would you ever hear this? Only on Encounters.
My mind was like blown. Is like, hey, I've seen all the shows she described. Now I have like an insider look into those shows and questions I had, in my head. Like, did you say
Yeah.
that the other crash was at the Aurora?
Thank you, yeah. Oh yeah, I've heard Aurora. We had somebody on the other night, Scotto. He talked about the Aurora project. He also talked about a few other things, and that show is on my YouTube channel. Just to let people know, my Ashtar Command Spaceship News channel on YouTube. You can watch all my past shows of encounters on there if you missed any of the previous night shows, and also my show from this morning is I posted that. I'm not sure if I have, but that show will also be that show is posted on my YouTube channel as well, just to let you know. He was a Navy SEAL, that's right. And he came on live last night, or the other day, yeah. Amazing. Amazing the people we get on here, folks. And you're watching Encounters here on TikTok, the #1 spiritual UFO talk show on any social media. Forget Ancient Aliens, this is where it's at.
Forget that guy with the hair.
Oh, Grace, on the treadmill we have a rabbit.
I'm sorry.
There's a rabbit on a treadmill.
We
got the rabbit on the treadmill. Oh yeah, Grace heard your treadmill. The rabbit just went down the rabbit hole.
I'm putting in the work, guys. We can't be sitting on our butts just talking to talk. We got to get out there and put the work on. I lost 130 pounds in a year, and ain't nobody got an excuse. It's all about
he's the Energizer Bunny.
Spirit.
April says you're the Friends and Furry says you're the Energizer Bunny.
That's right. Keep going.
You're doing a good job. You're doing good.
I'm doing a 10% incline uphill, getting ready for my mountain hiking.
That's good.
I haven't seen you in 6-8 months, and I can see a difference. So keep it up, my friend.
Yeah, he is making a difference. What a difference, James really is making.
You're losing it, and I'm putting it back on. So thanks.
You know, he's definitely doing good. And we're at 20,000 people. We're never going to make it. Well, actually, we're not going to make it to 100,000 tonight, but that's okay. I started late anyway.
And this is what I say: is everybody should like the live, because where can you go to hear these stories for free on your phone in your living room?
Right. You don't have to go to.
A like is free. At least 200 people in your live.
That's right.
You can hit your goals, because I mean, if James can hustle his bottom in real life, we can at least exercise our fingers in support of James.
That's right.
At 1 o'clock in the morning.
At 1 in the morning. So if he can do that, this is the challenge. How many people are tapping to get us to 100,000 likes?
If we get more taps, hold on, wait. I'll kick it up to a good jog for everybody. Hold on.
I'll kick it up to a good jog. We're at 21.8, yep. 21.9.
Hold on.
Thank you, Palladian. We can support Commander to get 100,000. Thank you for all. Thank you for the gift. Also, the gifting. So I know I don't talk about gifting all the time, but yeah, I do need to support the gifting. I'm proud to accept gifts through my Cash App, or become a subscriber, or through TikTok gifts. Whatever you want to do. We're now at 5 of 8 hats. So I have 3 more hats to complete 100% of my goal. I'm at 30 of 100 subscribers. If you're not subscribing, and there's 211 people here, become a subscriber. That helps support our C5 night vision equipment goal that we have, and we're going to let that organically increase in funds. It costs about $2,500 to buy night vision equipment. So that will go to our C5 group in Connecticut here.
Do you have sound monitoring stuff so you can see frequencies and hertz?
We don't have any of that. No.
Walker Ranch, so you can get ideas for equipment. But sound frequency is important, because I've seen all the episodes. So
y'all better be tapping that screen. I'm running for Commander.
I'm only at 27.1 right now.
Signature as well.
5 minutes before 1 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast.
Because you can see temperature changes and read it on the camera, so that's an important one.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll get more at 28.3 right now.
Plus, if you have equipment, we'll have a way to watch what you're viewing, so we get benefit from having equipment.
Thank you. Let's see, who gave me the rose? Yaya, thank you. Thank you for the cap, Yaya. Thank you so much. Now I have to create another goal, I think. Let me see if it says so. So I have to set up another goal. We just had the goal there. I think we're going to set up a whole different goal. Wait a minute. What am I doing here? I'm going to set up a whole different one. Let me edit it here. Where's the galaxies? They got to be here somewhere. I'm going to set up the goal with the lights. We're going to do the lights. The lights, the hanging lights. Wait a minute. That's not what I want. I'm doing the lights. I was just there. Actually, I really would like to do the lights. They're 199 points. So we're going to set up about 8 lights right now. We got to get lit up here. I just confirmed it. I just set lights. Oh, there we go. Rod just sent me a light. I love this. I can change the GIFs. So now I love the lights. They're really cool. So I'm now doing 8 lights. I just got one of 8. We're at 34.5. I will go till I will make it to 1:15 a.m. in the morning to get to 100,000. So we need to get up to 100,000. Venus just sent me the lights. Good. Thank you so much.
Well,
I
think it's
appreciate
important.
that.
Let's
wow,
share.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just like intrigued by lights. I love. Well, I'm going. This is really Jackie. Yeah, thank you. You folks, I love you all.
All I'm trying to say is I know that a lot of people that are impatient stay in this room because we're not going to all just talk about our goals, but Commander, stumbling upon this will change your life, to be honest.
Right. And he's right. And when my folks who are my friends who've been on me for Riley's known me for as long as I've been on the TikTok, and he found me, and so many people have come here because what I do is I'm doing a show. I'm not doing arguing. I'm not talking about whether the earth has holes in it or whether there's cream cheese in the earth or something. I'm not arguing with anybody. I'm a professional broadcaster. I've been in radio since the 70s when I was in Vermont. I got into TV media. I did the Intergalactic TV Network on a cable station in Connecticut for about a year. And then I decided to go on radio, and I've been 21 years doing on NPR Radio, Ashtar Command Radio, which is a show dedicated to our star family. And I've been on there for 21 years. And then I've been on Facebook, and then I got to TikTok through friends of mine telling me to go on TikTok, which I thought was for kids. Honestly, I did. But I got on here.
I stole my TikTok from my daughter, who's 12.
Right.
And I didn't know what TikTok was. And I was like, oh, my God, where is this?
You stole it from your daughter. You stole it from his daughter. It sounds funny now when you say that. But
I didn't know what she was posting. And I wanted to make sure. And I kind of wanted to, do the proper thing as a dad and make sure she's not doing,
But it's funny the way you said that, because I stole it because it was so good. I took it away from her, and we're arguing over the TikTok. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and it became funny because she would have challenges with me, and she's like, well, I got 10,000. And I was like, dang, I got a little co-creator here.
Right. But the thing is, the essence of what we do here is so important. And, I studied TikTok a little bit before I decided to do any live shows. I studied to see what are people doing here. I saw a lot of garbage on here, of course, and other things that I said, this is just ridiculous. And then I see all these people arguing on TikTok that are creators. I say, no, that's not happening. I come from a background of broadcasting. I'm going to do a show. I'm going to create a show here.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I know this is important to say. Can you get out one of your healing crystals and give this?
Well, I have they're all in the other room, which is going through some massive change. But here's one of my crystals.
Because I think
this is one of my crystals
important.
Right here.
What I've been in your room and I've experienced it, and every time I've seen people experience what you do is where they'll see the importance of stumbling upon your channel. Because I have so much information, I could literally take over Commander. I need to start my own, but I'm not here to do that. But I want to give general knowledge to the importance of you, because there's different age ranges that watch this show, and what you do is generational, and what you talk about.
Hold on.
I mean, look at kids are going to come on here with their parents not knowing, have questions about the boogeyman, and they don't know what they're living through, and you're here potentially as a call-in center to say, hey man, I experienced this and I don't understand it. Can anybody help me? And I've witnessed it on your show of people that were governmentally abducted. Shy was there to see that. I mean, the things that you experience on your TikTok is mind blowing, but important.
I'm gonna bring Kay on. She just had a sighting. Classic Dixie go over Davis Monthan base. We're bringing on Kay. We got some updated stuff. This is what my show does. Hey, Kay, good evening.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm okay.
I was listening.
Hello,
I was reading,
welcome.
not listening. I was reading your report about. Let me go backwards here. I just saw a classic disc-shaped UFO over Davis Monthan base. Was that tonight?
Yeah.
See, this is what I mean. Tell us about that.
I was typing it as I was watching it go by. I couldn't believe it was going slow, and then it just took off. And
really?
yeah, I couldn't believe it. It was, I mean, it wasn't one of the real big ones. It was about the size of the house.
Really?
I can't believe. Yeah, I was out here having a cigarette, and I watched the skies at night. Because there's been a lot of activity in Tucson this year, and I mean, there's always activity in Tucson, always. But yeah, just
now. Let me ask you a question. As you saw that, we do have reverse engineered technology, but it also could be non-terrestrial. So what were you? I mean, obviously it was too fast. It happened in it seems like a blink of an eye. What did you feel about it?
Usually, if it's extraterrestrial, I can hear them. I didn't hear them. I didn't hear them. I've told you when I can hear things, but I didn't hear this one.
Yeah.
It came up real slow, and then it was gone. So I think
came up slow.
Yeah, it came up slow from the base, and then it was just gone. So I think
so. It must have been. It's probably one of ours. It's probably reverse engineered, like Ambassador was saying. Yeah, right. I mean, if it's coming from the base, the obvious thing is they're using reverse engineered technology.
Right.
Very, very true.
And it went towards the north. Usually, if I'm hearing them, they're headed towards the south.
Yeah.
And that's really strange. Do you remember when I was telling you that I saw the boomerang shaped ones, and that
I remember that. Yeah.
That last year, I had heard about the eggs that they were transferring, and the big one with the water with the eggs. Have you been reading about all of a sudden all the different types of mermaids and that coming that they're finding dead? I'm wondering if that was some of the eggs, and they're not finding the waters very clean, and it's killing them.
Oh.
So I'm really wondering about that.
Yeah, I'd have to do some research on that. I'll be honest, I don't have a lot of information. I know what you're talking about. I would have to do some research on that, because I've been looking at mermaid stuff quietly on my own here about mermaids around the planet, and they do exist, folks. There are mermaids that live on our planet in the oceans and seas all over the world.
But
these are different types. They're not the classic. These are, all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of different types coming around, and there's the river ones all of a sudden appearing, and that, and there's a lot of dead ones all of a sudden showing up.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm wondering if they're the ones they brought. Now, they're not the huge ones that I heard and felt, and that were giving me bloody noses when they were talking. So I'm wondering if they're finding the water polluted and it's killing them.
That could be. If the water is polluted, just like anything else, a human being, if they're swimming in polluted water, is going to be affected by.
It's new to them. They're not used to it.
Well, for the normal mermaids, they would be able to live in our seas and oceans because it's a natural. It's salt water cleanses things.
They've adapted to it.
I'd have to do some research on that really before I really become somewhat of an authority on it, because I'm not. I mean, I know about the mermaids.
Well, I
And
didn't
just
start reading about it until last night, and all of a sudden it's starting to click in my head. I'm wondering if they're starting to hatch, and they're starting to die because they're not adapted.
and where would can you explain where the mermaid eggs came from?
Well, remember when I was telling you about it,
Yeah,
it there was this big ship that was bringing all of these water creatures and eggs from
to,
other solar systems,
yeah, to the
and
planet Earth.
right to planet Earth, and they were divided in chambers, and they were coming from different planets and that they were
Hmm.
coming. And I got more information. We are why they come different times throughout millions of different years. Our solar or our universe bumps another universe periodically. And
Hmm.
so what they do is everybody comes to different planets away from that area, and they will stay for so long while that's happening, and then they all leave, as many of
Hmm.
them as can
Thank
leave,
you, Matt.
go back home.
Hmm.
So they all just all of a sudden they go to other planets while that's happening, because it ruins their atmospheres, and that's why you hear about all this gold and all this. And so there is some truth in what we hear about the gold. There is some
Hmm.
truth. And yeah, one of our planets does go there is a lot of truth about the books where one of
Hmm.
our planets do need the gold, but there's other solar systems that use it, other galaxies that use it.
Hmm.
And you know people don't realize our universe is huge, but so
Oh,
are
yeah.
others.
There's
So
a
are
lot of
others.
things we don't know either, Kay. That there are many, I saw a documentary on YouTube. A person was interviewed. He says there's over 30 plus planets in our solar system that people don't know about.
Right, right. And
30 more
I've
planets that are totally kept secret.
well, I've heard that, from the creatures as I'm hearing them go by. But not too long ago, I got a visit. Well, I got to visit. I was
Mhm.
taken, and I've been very ill in the last
Wait a
15
second.
years.
You can't just say you're taken without giving us some examples and
Yeah,
tell us the
or
story about that.
yeah. We need to know the
Well,
background
that's
of that just
happened
for
all my
people.
life.
All her
Um,
life, yeah.
yeah, all my life. I've I have a FBI file because as a child, I would disappear for 3 to 4 days at a time. And when it
Hmm.
first started
Wait,
happening,
wait, 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 wait. Yeah, I gotta stop my workout for that one, Commander. You better ask her some good questions on this
I'm
one.
gonna, I'm going
well,
to.
Holy
the
crap.
first time
That's
it
amazing.
happened, the
I'll
first
do
Go
time
some
it
ahead.
more
happened, I was
workouts.
3 months old, and
You
I
deserve
was
it.
living with my grandparents and my parents in their house, and they went in to put me in the crib, and I was gone. And of course, the
Wait,
police were called, and the
you
FBI
were in the
showed up.
you were in the crib. You wait. Let me slow you down, okay? So you were in the crib as a baby, and when the police came, you were gone. You weren't there anymore in the
I
crib.
wasn't there. And
What year was that?
1957.
57.
And
Okay.
yeah, and when it it went on for days, and all of a sudden I was
Wow.
just back, and all they found was radiation on the roof of my mom's and grandma's house.
Really, on
And
the roof of the house.
yeah, that's all I
Well,
found.
that sounds to me like the ship was like really close to the roof,
Right,
and they abducted you somehow and
right,
brought you on the ship. Now I don't have to bring you through the roof, but they somehow got you on the ship as a little baby or whatever.
right. And then when I was 3, I disappeared, and I was gone 4 days that time. But that's happened
Really?
throughout my life.
Throughout your
That
life?
has happened throughout my
Now,
life.
why do you think that is happening? Like, if, as an adult now, you mean your whole life you've been having this abduction?
Right, right. Well, I do know that I got a genetic disease, which I think the lizards gave to me, and I think that was on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And because they've shown up a couple of times throughout my life, which you stopped. I haven't seen them since.
Okay,
They've
so
shown up
let me
several
explain
times.
something to people. When last year she was on my show, she told me about this problem with the reptilians. And if you know me, I told her I'm going to send an Astar spaceship over her location, and we're going to send some people on the ground level, Astar command people, into her house. And tell them what happened after I did that.
Well, I had been having severe headaches, and I had constant earaches and a sore throat, and it stopped, and I haven't seen them since.
And
And
that's because of the thing we did that night.
right, right. And there has been a lot less fighting in the house, a lot less turmoil,
Right.
and the one thing that hasn't stopped, though, is periodically, at first I thought they were bees, but they come right through the window.
Through the
And
window.
they come right through the windows. And they look like little itsy bitsy ships. And they'll like
Huh.
sting you, only they're taking blood and they take off.
And
And I
they're
don't know
taking blood from you. They're taking blood from you.
right. And I don't
Oh,
know who's sending those.
okay, so do you want
I
to
can,
stop that?
if I
Let
can,
me just, in just a second, I just want to let her ask her, would you like me to have that stopped?
If it's possible, but I don't know if that's the Palladians. I don't know who's doing that. I don't
Right.
think it's the reptilians. The
No.
reptilians are brute force. And when they took me, I always had bruising, I always had
Mm-hmm.
scratches, I always
Mm-hmm.
lost hair.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had literature marks on my
Hmm.
ankles and my arms. It was brute. These
So here,
aren't,
okay.
these are fast.
Right.
They're
So
very fast.
let me, now that I know this, I need to do this for you. If you'll let me do it, I have to have your permission though.
Okay.
this is exactly what I was asking you to do for the whole group too. So if you
Okay.
could,
So I'm going to do this. And people that are new to my show, I am what I am. I am everything that I am. And I came here from another world. I came here with the Ashtar Command, which is Christed beings of light. I'm fully activated. Like I said, I don't pay attention to any websites or anything else or people with crystal balls in their hand telling me what is going to happen. I'm going to help Kay again. And now we're going to get rid of that whole thing. So tonight, Kay, we're sending a spaceship about 15,000 feet above your location, and we're going to send 12 of the Ashtar Command personnel in there. And when these little things come through the walls or whatever they are, the Ashtar Command is going to, with the energetic field, they're going to be forced to leave. They're not going to come back again, and you're not going to have any more problems. I would say the ship will stay there for a whole week. We're going to stay
But I
there for a
think
whole week.
that's why I'm still alive with my um,
Right, but I'm not sure why they're taking blood
disease.
from you. You know,
I
they,
think because I was only given a year to live 14 years ago. And
wow.
I think they are why I'm still alive. I think whoever is intervening is why those things I think are keeping track of my blood, and I
You
think
keep
they're
track
why
of your
I'm
blood.
still alive. Yeah.
Well, you know what we'll do? We'll bring the ship over there. We'll monitor the situation with these whoever they are, and if it's not making you get sick, what they're doing or negative, we'll just monitor for about a
Yeah.
week. We'll have the ship there for
I
about a
am
week.
still, well, they only come every 3 or 4 months.
Oh,
They're
3 or 4
not,
months.
yeah, they're not here all the time. They're only coming like every 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
And
this is what I would say to UK in full, like, respectful nature is, even though if this doesn't happen now, I think it's important that if you are being watched, whether it's through the television, through the TV, through the phone,
I
it's
would know
important
that.
for
I
what
feel
Commander
that.
wants to do for you, and just, take it with a grain of salt. But, I think you should be open to the invitation, so to speak.
Right. So what we'll do is we'll hold off, and when they come back, I'll just say to the Astronaut Command right now, because I'm in communications, they'll know when they come back in the next 3 months. I wish to make sure one of the ships is there when they come back to monitor who they are, what they are, if they are negatively affecting you physically, or whether they're doing something to help you stay alive. Well, I don't know that.
Reptilians that gave me this genetic disease, because no one in my family's ever had it. Everybody, all my siblings have been tested. All my children have been tested. All my cousins have been tested. No one else has it. And
Really?
we've been DNA tested. We are in fact siblings. We are in fact cousins. No one else has it.
Yeah, my friend Grace, and too, Grace is saying also to add the let me see here, the Christ light. Do you know how to add the Christ light into the field of your energy around you?
I do have that.
Okay, you do. Okay, she does. She does have that, Grace. All right.
Yes.
All right. All I'm going to say is, in terms of the ship thing, and my space friends on the ship, we'll hold off on that. But when you know they're coming back in that 3-month period, at least give me some advanced knowledge of that, and I'll just tell the command to be consciously aware when that happens, and just to be there when that happens, whenever that is, just to monitor.
About the middle of April.
Middle of April.
About right around the middle of April.
Middle of April. Okay, so we'll look at the middle of April. We'll have a ship there around the middle part of the month of April, and we'll have Ashtar people on the ground level, non-visible, that will watch what's going on and see where these things are going to. So obviously there's some intelligence behind this. I just don't know who it is.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know either, but I really believe that they are medically taking care of me, because I'll wake up every once in a while and I'll have what I would consider an IV, where they've put an IV into me, and I always feel a lot better after.
Really? So, interesting.
Yeah. And I'm taking medications the doctors are giving me, and all of a sudden they're saying, "Oh, your labs look a lot better. What are you doing?"
Really?
Nothing different. So I really think whoever's doing this is doing it for my benefit. But I've always been picked up since I was. Mom said the first time I came up missing, I was about 3 months old. So, and my husband, when he was like, oh God, he just panicked. I told him, says, quit panicking, because, it's always happened, always happened. And it's nothing serious. As a matter of fact, it's beneficial. I've always known things. I always told him when we were going to have new military things. I've always told him when I was the first one that told him about iPhones. I was the first one that told him about, 3 years. I told him 3 years before they came out, this guy named Jobs is going to patent these. We need to get on the ground floor. He didn't tell me it was. He said, "Oh, that's bullshit. There's no such thing." And I said, "Virgil,
we have to watch the language. You just have to watch the language. Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I've got the cat here. I'm gonna put it down. Oh, wait a minute.
Okay.
I'm sorry. She wanted to get up for a minute. That's okay. But so I'm gonna hold off on that. But the reptilian thing we got rid of. That's good.
I haven't seen them since.
We'll monitor.
They were so tall that when I saw the last one, he had like a tablet in his hand and he was brushing the ceiling of my bedroom. And what woke me up was the smell. Oh
Oh
my
wow.
word. The smell
Yeah.
was horrifying. And I woke up and I
What?
looked at
Wait.
him.
What did you smell? What did you smell?
It was musky. It was so heavy musk.
Hmm.
And I kept hearing like this buzzing sound. And when I woke up and sat up, he looked at me and I heard him like, "Why is she awake?" And he disappeared.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know, it
you
was
well,
like,
thank God that last year we got rid of them. The
yeah,
Ashtar Command, as she told you the story, we sent a ship there, and we got rid of them. The reptilians, we just threw them out of the universe. Basically, this is what I do. This is what people have to know about me. I'm not just merely a physical human being. I have some abilities, and my abilities are when people are in need like that, and I hear that stuff happening and hurting them. I will send the Ashtar Command over to their location anywhere in the world, and our people will go off the ship, and we will kick some cosmic whatever, and they will never ever bother that person again. And I've done
right.
this. It's documented on my show since the last year I've been here. I've helped about several different people with spaceships of the command and personnel going in to their location and ridding them of the negative ETs.
Well,
That's what I
it
do.
surprises me that I even had any problem. When they've done all these genetic tests, I have an extra chromosome and an extra gene. And
Mm-hmm.
that supposedly causes a Down syndrome, but it's not the
Hmm.
same chromosome. It's not, and they've never seen this gene. They've never seen
Mm-hmm.
this chromosome ever. And
Wow.
they keep testing me. And my sister has it. So they don't know where it's from.
Hmm.
and
So,
I don't want to put out a bunch of speculation, but about what she's saying is like the government kind of knows there's certain type of people and they want those people and
oh,
they get
they've
them to work
tried.
for them.
They've tried.
They have psychic
Um,
abilities.
oh, yeah, I know. I know.
So
And so
and
do
then
the aliens
I
know.
don't want to interrupt you, but if I can jump in here for like literally 1 minute and then I'll pop down because I want to touch on what Commander and you are saying and where I can kind of correlate my own experience with it, or even if you want to, instead of me looking at me as like, oh, he's just spreading this. There's enough evidence, and whether it's photos or videos or whatever, that you could actually research yourself. But what I've researched correlates what they're saying is, like we have people observing us, we have people here to help us, and then also you look at two examples. One is when you watch like Skinwalker Ranch, you find mutilated cows and stuff. It's almost like
Yeah,
what she's talking about. They're doing experiments because if you think about a cow, we consume cows in milk and in flesh, and if they want to help us with something, whether it be coronavirus or whatever's out there, they are interfering in a good way. Obviously there could be bad too, but it's more good than anything. When
right,
she mentioned about like uh, uh, crop circles, there's
right.
coronavirus looking crop circles. They're trying to tell us things if we look. We just don't know how to look at the message.
But the other thing we have to say is that back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, maybe early 90s, there are no more. There's not been any current cattle mutilations happening. That if you look at 30 years ago, like if you go back in history, there were many stories about that. But you're not seeing really any of that anymore
Well,
because
it's not main news, but they are happening. It's just where they're happening, we don't know, but it is happening.
it is pretty limited. I mean,
Yeah,
I won't mention that ranch because that place I would never want anybody to go there.
yeah,
But
that's not the purpose of it. That's so that they don't have to.
right,
So that I can kind of
right,
like give a synopsis
right.
rather
No,
than go there.
you're right.
And
But
then
there is less of it.
this is a quick question for you, Commander, that correlates with James's
Right.
shirt and her. Is we were talking about different ships, different beings, and that's kind of why I think about it like Star Wars and the cantina scenes, and like
Hmm.
Right.
there's different beings, there's different you know uh, races, if you want to go at it,
Oh,
different
there's
planets.
so
They're all
many.
intermingled. We don't see them all gathered now, but it could literally be our future. It could have been our past. It could have been
Right.
like, why do we have pyramids all over the world when we couldn't even
Right.
fly an airplane?
Right. Well,
There's
Well,
questions that we
and
don't have the answers to,
yeah.
and we have people like
everybody
this
says there's only
kind of
12
correlate with
DNA
it.
strands. I keep being told there's 16. There's
Yeah.
16 in us. And we're ready for a new download of more DNA. And
Right.
I'm like, when? And they're saying we're doing it now.
Well, yeah, let
So
me explain something. So about now, I'm CmdrAleon, the host of Encounters, the spiritual UFO talk show. And for new people, just to give you background, not only am I the host of the show, I come from Mars. I work in cosmic Christ consciousness. All the Ashtar Command people do from all the planetary worlds of light. I'm a contactee from the 60s. I've had nothing but positive interactions and have many, many sightings. I also do workshops where I take people, just for new people here, off planet on a ship as big as the Earth. It's a golden ship of light. It's a living ship, and I won't get into a whole lot of that now. I'm host of WESU's Ashtar Command radio show for 21 years on NPR Pacific Radio, which I did Sunday morning. And I think Ryan Built is asking about the ice wall. We'll get into that in a minute. Good evening, all the people coming in here. But I just want people to know that when you're dealing with different beings, you also have to understand different vibrational patterns are important, because when you're dealing with the star beings, they operate in a much higher vibrational spiritual frequency than the
yes,
lower vibrational beings that are in the third dimension. There are third dimensional beings that have spaceships, and they do exist, and they look all kinds of whatever, but they're not able to, let's say, graduate or elevate to where the star spiritual beings are. They can't do it. They've put themselves in a trap. So therefore, they're not going anywhere. We, as a universe, as a galaxy, as a solar system, are elevating now to a much higher galactic cosmic frequency. Therefore, we're going into a Christ frequency, which is where our star family is. The star family, all the star people, all the different planetary systems of light, they all operate in a Christed frequency of light. The other beings that are doing all the crazy stuff, they don't operate in that frequency, because they could have, but they chose to go down the wrong road, so to speak. You know how a human being can choose to be a good human being or can choose to be a
or
bad human
bad.
being and break windows. These beings chose to go down the wrong path. And, and when you know what you know, as I know what I know, becoming with the Ashtar Command coming to Earth, we just know the differences. And it's like when people years ago used to tell me, "Oh, Commander, there has to be darkness to be having light. You have to have negativity to have positivity." I said, "That's a cop out." I said, "That's just a cop out." I said, "Either you fill the cup with light or you don't fill the cup with light." And I don't care what anyone tells me. I've been on this road for a long time. You're not going to tell me, "Balance it out, Commander. A little bit of, put a little bit of negativity there with the light." No, you're looking for trouble. Don't ever do that. If someone suggests that to you and they say they're enlightened, they're not enlightened. Nobody would want to put a whole cup of darkness in a cup of light. You don't do it. You want to elevate yourself into cosmic Christed consciousness. And that's what I teach, because I don't come from here. On Earth, human
Yeah,
beings, some human beings, they mix everything up. Like they'll throw this in there like a concoction, like they're scientists. Let's throw a little bit of this and a little bit of that in there.
no,
Doesn't work.
I need you on this subject. I want to ask you a direct question, Commander, if I could. So what you're
Yeah,
saying, and this is for clarity,
right.
and you're welcome to address this after I really quickly ask you the
Yeah,
question,
absolutely.
is that the important message in what you're trying to come across is that people need to be educated, for one, and two is that we need not live in a state of fear and live in a state of light. So in the event that we do make contact, we can be in a vibrational state of not to be afraid of this
Right,
information.
exactly.
not to be afraid, but also
Be
in
aware.
my walk of being on Earth since the late 50s, and more in my adult life, in my workshops and people I've met through the last 30 years, I've seen people say, "Oh, you got to have this and that," and I totally will tell them, "No, you don't get it. You're not getting it. You think you're spiritual, but you're not spiritual, because you're now mixing a little bit of this and a little bit of that and think it's okay." And then you're totally liberated. No, either you are of the light or you're not of the light. And if you're going to be a light being in a human body, you need to fill your body up with light. You don't fill it up with something else. You don't mix it up with something else. And then the people can try to argue that point with me, but you're going to always lose with the commander on that one because I don't come from here. On Earth, people do their own thing, free will, throw everything around, mix up the crystal ball with this thing. Your body is your temple. Your body is your temple. If your temple is mixed up with all kinds of stuff, it's not your temple anymore.
Commander, it's real important that you said that. And as I'm working on myself, me, I like to be, I don't want to say combative, but
Right.
I'm quick to the draw, right?
Right.
And in these past few weeks, I've really worked on tempering myself, working on
Mm-hmm.
whatever little it's, because even think about this. If you see somebody doing wrong or something you don't like,
Mm.
uh, you have to have that decision. Are you going to say something or you're not going to say
Right.
something?
That's
And
right.
I've always been one to shoot first and ask questions later. And I'm
Right. I know
finding
that.
patience. I'm finding patience. I'm finding that I don't need to give energy to low vibration people. And I
Right.
don't need to give attention to things that are obvious. And I don't need to let anybody else's vibrations affect me. Because what happens is when we interact with negative or low vibration or whatever, they try to elicit a reaction out of us
Right. That's
because
right.
that's how they feed on people like us.
It's
So,
called energy
like you
vamp.
said, we have to fill ourselves with that light, and then those that come at you with darkness, they're gonna just be stuck in the dark looking a fool.
Right. And if they can't fool you, they get frustrated. You see, and you can't fool the commander. And many of you are learning, or that you can't be fooled if you're fully operating with a full cup of light. So when you need to refill up your light, and you're saying my light's a little bit low, take the time to meditate, connect with Christ consciousness, fill your cup back up with light. You can, and if you have to do it every morning before you go to work or whatever you do, always center yourself. Take time for yourself because the mission work on this planet is so crucial that when people say they're spiritual, great, but what kind of spiritual are you? Are you filled up with a cup of light, or are you spiritual and going all over the place? You have to, and thank you, Alan, for the subscription. I appreciate that. So we're getting close towards 1 o'clock. It's 1:30. Well, it's 1:34. So we're going to kind of close it down in a
Did
minute.
somebody say hug a tree?
Yes, it's because
Yeah,
you
hug
get
a
Oh, you
tree.
can't see.
from the tree, because the tree is always in the sun and it's always out in the open, and the energy
Yeah.
that
I'm
the sun
hugging a
and the higher
tree.
vibrations that we're talking about
Yeah.
is the faith, so to speak, or the go and experience it yourself. Go walk without shoes in the grass and really
Mm.
sit and be at
And
peace.
stay off the
Your
rocks
mind,
because they hide the soil.
yeah, like the energy and the soil and stuff. That's why we have pets. We pet our cats that go outside. We get the energy from them. We get the love back in our life from our animals as an example and a reminder that love exists.
I have one thing to
What are you
say.
saying?
Be
Well, go ahead, Kay.
careful with the too joyous because usually they have an alternative, and that's not good.
Yeah.
That's not.
No, I got to push back on that because I have been told, by people that don't know me, they'll say, "Oh wow, this guy's joy is disingenuous," or "This guy, how could he be so happy all the time?" or "How could he
No,
actually
I'm talking
operate in
about
that?"
the joy that wants something from you. Oh, well,
Oh
come
yeah,
to my
yeah, yeah.
meeting. They're asking you to sign a paper. They're asking you to donate. Be careful with the too joyous
Well, yeah,
because
the Moonies were one of those back in the day. They were so joyous on the corners of New Haven, Connecticut, smiling with their flowers, and they were so joyous. And you know about the Moonies, so that would be a good reference point as an example of what you're saying, joyous versus being spiritually enlightened and be joyful. You're cosmically awake. That's a different joy than you're talking about.
Well,
right.
it's like what Down the Rabbit Hole said is that you got to control your emotions.
Right.
we don't control our emotions, we can't get through the adversities or the distractions that are not aligning with being good. And if we all react and get distracted, and we become not good. If you control your emotions, like you say, live in Christ consciousness, or in a good vibration, that means you're happy, that
But
you.
the Moonies are a prime example. The
Talking over me.
Moonies claim to be spiritual, but they were
I used that as an example of the negative joyful, trying to take people. But we're getting kind of late here, and we're on the East Coast. You're more towards the. I'd love to keep talking here, but it's that.
I got to be up by 5 for my granddaughter.
We have daylight savings time, so you won't actually lose anything just yet. Maybe.
What time is it now? Is it 12:37 or 1:37?
12:37 on my time.
Oh, it's 12:37. Is it 12:37?
No, Commander, it's 1:37 our time.
10:37 mine, but still 5:37 early.
I'm so confused about time on this planet right now.
Well, that's what they say. It's speeding up. You mentioned it. Our guest talked about it.
It is going fast. Good night, everyone.
Commander, I wanted to
lately.
Yeah. Take care, Kay. Thanks for coming on.
Bye.
Commander, I wanted to say sorry for sharing my workout with everybody, but when we started the live, I said, you know what, this is a good opportunity because I try to stay on a schedule, and I try to make sure that I really am taking care of my mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah.
And I kind of slacked off the last 2 days, and I promised myself I would get it in. And I just right here on the phone with you guys, I put in over an hour jog.
Oh, good.
And we have to stick to it because it's really important for us in our growth to know that, hey, we're going to stumble, we're going to fall, we're going to miss a day, whatever it is. But just make sure I tell everybody about it, because we have to forgive ourselves for, not doing that, and then just move on.
For a month I had this thing with my lower back thing in the leg, and now I forced myself every day for 2 days. It was the first 2 days, forget it. But I forced myself to stretch my leg, to walk. I work customer service, so I'm sitting down a lot. But I forced myself to walk it out. And
well, it's funny because you told me that.
Yeah.
And
you started this.
And really quick, Commander, when you're sitting down in a chair, be conscious of where your feet are. You want them not tucked underneath you in the chair. You want them actually out, kind of in a relaxed
position. I have them in a relaxed position when I'm sitting down. I don't sit down all day. I get a 30-minute break and another 15 minutes, 30-minute lunch. But I make sure that my legs are stretched out.
And this is like, I'll take some breaks. If you think about how many people in this live sit for 8 hours, 6 hours, 14 hours, whatever. We all sit, and it's so we take it for granted in a way, Yeah,
we do. I think most humans tend to sit a little bit here. But speaking of sitting, we're going to do last minute gift
wars. We're going to go lay down.
Yeah, but before we do that, we have 240 people here. Not everybody has funds to do gifting, so don't feel if you have nothing that monetarily you can subscribe or do my Cash App or do TikTok gifts.
Got 63, my friend. At least
Commander
somewhere. Thank you so much for your hard effort and pushing through the pain and I mean, you went from walking to doing leg exercises. I was getting tired looking at you, and I'm just like, man, I couldn't be doing that.
Really?
But
I tried to do high impact,
and the chat was loving it. And thank you.
I think we
likes, and definitely gift this man. And I don't get anything from this, but just like you witnessed this last hour and you stuck through, I promise you're going to see some amazing things. And look at what
you will. Okay,
and guys, don't give me any gifts. Give them all to Commander, because I don't.
Please.
They just changed TikTok, so I don't have my bank account attached, and now they want my ID card so I can get gifts. So I'm not doing any of that. So don't give me any gifts ever.
Yeah, he wants you to give the gifts to me, so I can certainly use them. So any gifting you do, just just give me the gifts because
I got to plug you. He's got a YouTube channel. You're going to find all his past episodes.
Yeah.
Like you've got a radio show. This man has got a number of years, and he has you're older than us, which is good. You're here for a reason. You're a starseed. You're here to guide us. You're here to answer people's questions. You're here to gather information, and you can correlate with what you've experienced. And when you guys check out his channel and stick around for the future ones, you're going to get something out of it just like I did. And it's
not only that,
talking about crazy,
not only that,
but it's important, super important.
And not only that, we will in the next few days have more information from the Ashtar Command. I'm not sure what date it'll be, but we'll have more information as contact continues with my friend April. And so just let people know, April in Vermont she's got a lot of Ashtar Command ships in the mountains, and it's very well protected. And we met through TikTok. None of us knew each other, just to give you a short scenario of the story. And I couldn't figure out why I felt connected to this person. And then as the storyline goes further, she was invited on one of the Ashtar Command ships. They landed, she's out in the woods, so far out. I used to live in Vermont, so I know the area. They came down and invited her on the ship. She met her biological cosmic family, her father, on the spaceship. Then to come finding out that my biological father, who's on a cosmic realm, you have an Earth-based family and you have a non-Earth-based family. So I'm starting to learn how to teach people that difference. My father is a commander on one of the Ashtar ships because I come from that realm of the Ashtar Command. Before I came here, I've always been with the Ashtar Command. So there's things happening here, just to give you kind of a short synopsis. We didn't know each other. Then we find out Johnny, who's one of our moderators, who I never knew. I met him through TikTok. He was the third person. Then the other night we find out that the people on the ship of the command have selected Kit Kat. We didn't select anybody. Riley, thank you. So all this is organic. Everything that's happening here on TikTok with the show, with this thing, this is really organic. And it's also very beautiful. So
Scheduled.
The four of us, the four of us very soon are going to be going on a spaceship. And we're going to be providing and learning. We're going to certainly be learning. So we're just merely human beings. We're just like everybody else here. We're human. We're all human when it comes down to it. But we're also not, because we all have a consciousness that comes from off planet. And so we are going to be learning things and going places and coming back and sharing it with everybody here. So as host of the show, as working with the Ashtar Command and having my first connection with these space people when I was a kid, everything kind of makes sense from that point onward till I got older. And now with this happening, it's just another chapter in the book, so to speak.
Yeah, you're getting another download, so to speak. You're
basically visiting, a download, yeah, in a way, yeah.
You're visiting the Matrix Hub, and so you can get upgraded, get the new, 1.5.
Oh, thank you, Rod. Thank you. It's just, I'm still meditating every day when I have a chance. I meditate for 30 minutes to center myself and try to get ready. I think meditation is key for all the four of us. Meditation is key to being ready, because I've been off planet through my cosmic dream state. I've done that. I've done the Merkaba thing for years in my workshops.
Super quick healing just for the room, just for everybody that stuck by you tonight.
I don't know. I'm not. I can do essentially. I can do this. I'll just put a blessing in the room just for tonight. I will do a healing on a different night. But I'm really too tired to really get into doing that. It's late on the East Coast here. So, but I will do a blessing for everybody here, because one of the things beyond being a talk show host, I love everybody, you see, and I will always love everybody, because that is the nature of where we come from. The Ashtar Command is about love, the frequency of love, the idea of love. And that idea of love is always going to be within each of us. So a lot of times when I speak, I'll start speaking and I'm saying, okay, I just speak a flow of words that come through me in my consciousness to everybody, and they all make sense. It's like almost like poetry, like the flowing of a river. It all makes sense. It just flows and flows. So I want to wish everybody a good night. I want to bless everybody. I want you to all have a good Monday, and make sure your clocks are reset or whatever on this planet. And we'll see you tomorrow night, Monday night, with another edition of Encounters. Thank you for the gifting, everybody. You're all a blessing here, and always walk in the light. Don't be distracted by other things, hearsay, rumors, people's gossips, or whatever. Throw that stuff out the window. Just stay tuned into your light frequency, and everything will be good. Take care, everybody. Blessings and peace. Good night.
Commander.